Busy people making their way between North Carolina and Tennessee rarely have time to look to the side at land they pass.
It's a gem that a lot of people don't know about because it's been in private ownership for so long.
Straddling Unicoi and Greene counties, this is Rocky Fork.
This was a 10,000-acre tract, far too important from an environmental standpoint, a natural resource standpoint, to allow it to be turned into just another gated community. This is the land where my father grew up hunting and fishing, his father before him, and his before him, and his before him.
David Ramsey grew up with the family stories about this land named for the clear, cold mountain creek running through it. A special place, just the way it is.
As an outdoor photographer and conservationist, I've known most of my life how important the Rocky Fork watershed is from an ecological and natural resource standpoint. You have miles and miles of native brook trout streams, waterfalls. There are waterfalls that we haven't even found yet.
Rocky Fork is a vast area for wildlife. Peregrine falcon, bear, turkey, deer, all kinds of salamanders. There are over 16 miles of native brook trout stream here, and over 1,000 plants have already been cataloged.
We first visited Rocky Fork back in 2006, a time when the future of this land was very uncertain. Under a unique arrangement, TWRA was managing public hunting and fishing here, but the land was still in private hands. Even then, outdoors groups of every size and interest were banding together for a common cause with side benefits, such as protecting a pretty famous trail.
About 1.5 miles of the Appalachian Trail physically across the Rocky Fork tract, and so it was a pretty high priority for us to try and acquire that, and at least that portion of it has been on our list for 30 years or more.
Even with growing support, Rocky Fork's destiny seemed to be the same as so much other natural habitat lost over the years to development.
It had been under contract with developers twice. With the huge push for development that was going on, we frankly weren't sure we'd be able to do this.
That's because the price of this beauty had risen to $40 million. During the last 10 years, gatherings were held to inform as many people as possible about Rocky Fork and what it would take to save it, usually with David Ramsey leading the way.
I can't count the meetings where that we put together with our congressman, where I saw bear hunters standing shoulder to shoulder with mountain bikers and trout fishermen.
That's right, there's nothing like the potential loss of 10,000 acres of prime hunting and hiking land to bring different folks on board. The Conservation Fund purchased more than 7,000 acres and transferred the land to the state and federal government for permanent ownership. From the Land and Water Conservation Fund, the U.S. Forest Service purchased the last 1,200 acres for $5 million. Smaller but equally important amounts were pieced together from outdoors interests such as Trout Unlimited.
Literally hundreds of people worked really hard to get this done, and that's why it happened.
Despite the overwhelming odds, people working with a passion got the job done.
It's been 6 years that we've been working on it. There have been highs and lows during that, and to have seen it through to where it's now protected, and we know that our kids, grandkids, and future generations will be able to come here and enjoy this, is just hugely meaningful.
Today the state owns about 1,500 acres and the federal government the rest. Now the work begins to establish ways all of us can use and cherish Rocky Fork, including the possibility of a state park.
It allows all of us to stand back and say that we did something good, we protected a critical resource, and again, 20, 30 years from now, they won't remember me or the folks that helped us, but Rocky Fork will always be here.
I'm Alan Griggs on Tennessee's Wild Side.